Hey, family and friends, this is Marriage and Divorce Coach, Dr. Angel Cartagena, coming to you with this week's edition of Tuesday Tips. As I was praying this morning about what I should talk about, one situation that came to mind that I saw as both a pastoral counselor as well as a divorce coach is, what do you do when your spouse is doing everything within their power to make your life miserable and they are succeeding at it and you feel like God doesn't care? Like God doesn't care. What do I say to you in that instance? And by the way, I'm going to say this at the risk of offending some people, but oftentimes, most times, when I have seen a couple in a situation where they're divorcing and one is just going way out of their way, major league efforts to make the life of the other person miserable, it is usually a man who does it to a woman. It's usually a husband doing it to a wife, either because he feels rejected, because she brought up the case of divorce. And in some instances, man, some guys they're the ones who make the decision to pursue the divorce, and they're just awful. Like they use all of the law and the power and everything that they have as a man in society to just be brutal with these poor women. And so, I'm laughing because my only other option is to cry. Um, and oftentimes, unless you have the resources to get a really good attorney, it's just a difficult thing. And so, but the question that I have to deal with as not only a divorce coach, but a Christian divorce coach is, how do we handle this when our faith starts to waver, when we start wondering, God, why are you allowing all this to happen? So the first thing I want to do is answer this question that oftentimes comes up, does God care? Like people feel like God doesn't care. And that one's a really easy question to answer. I just take them to 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7, which says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. And so, much easier to say than to receive, though, when you're going through a really difficult time. And so the other place, and when I've worked with clients in this situation, I have actually walked them through Psalm 37. Now, I don't have time to go through all of it, but let me read a quick part to you. It says, do not fret because of evil men, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass, they will soon wither. Like green plants, they will soon die away. Now listen, they may not wither as soon as you'd like them to, but God will deal with them. And you've got to trust that this is going to happen. And this is really what the next verses are about. Verse 3 says, trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. So the first question that I ask my clients is, are you trusting the Lord? Are you really trusting the Lord? Trusting him doesn't mean, well, he's not moving on my time schedule. Trusting him is not, well, he's not doing things the way I need him to. Trusting him is not, well, where am I supposed to get money for these kids when he won't pay child support? I understand that all of those things are rough, but it's not trusting him when you're questioning him. Verse 4, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of the heart. Listen, God actually calls us in the midst of our trials and our tribulations to delight in him, to trust him so much, to have so much faith in him that we know he's got this. Listen, we know he's got this, even though it may not appear so in the moment. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him and he will do this. He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn and justice of your cause like the noonday sun. Commit your way to the Lord. What does that mean? Here's the thing. You can't control the other person. Stop asking them to do stuff. Stop waiting on them to do stuff. Stop depending on them to do stuff. Stop asking yourself or constantly saying what you want them to do that's right. They're not going to do it. If they are taking all of these steps to torture you, if they're doing all of these steps to be, difficult, then, the truth is you're dealing with someone who probably is a narcissist and Not only, listen, not only will they not do what you ask them to do, they'll take delight in the fact that you're asking them, right? One thing that is clear from this holy word is this: God only requires you to deal with you. God only asks you to do the things that you can control, that you have any kind of say over. And so stop asking them to do stuff, and instead, your asks should be prayers that you're sending up to the Lord, that you need to pray fervently as we're called to do. Finally, he says, "Be still in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when men succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes." Listen, be still and wait for him. Psalm 46:10 says this: "Be still and know that I am the Lord." And so my advice to you is, first of all, you need to go to the Psalm 37, pray about it, read it, pray over it, meditate on it, and milk it for all it's worth, because it deals particularly with this issue of when the evil seem like they are winning. I have three practical tips for you. First of all, stop, and one I kind of already gave to you, which is stop thinking about your spouse. Stop thinking about them, stop depending on them. They've already shown you their colors. You cannot expect that they're going to do right, and it doesn't help you or anybody else for you to be complaining about it. We all know this person is not a nice person. We see this from the way that they're treating you. Stop acting like they're going to one day wake up and do right. Number two, I already mentioned this one, but I'm going to mention it again. Focus on what you can control. In other words, if he's not paying child support, what can you do to get child support? What can you do to increase finances in your house? Is there any way you can cut some of the costs that that you currently have in your household? I don't know what your situation is. You're the one who's going to have to do this, but the whole point is you need to make a fine distinction between what they can do, which you have no control over, but the things you can do that you do have control over, and do them. Finally, whatever it is that you can't control and whatever it is that you don't have the ability to take care of, that's the stuff you got to trust God with. And again, you've got to go to him in prayer and in fervent prayer. I'm talking about like wear the knee parts of your jeans out type of prayer. And listen, be patient. Things are not going to be resolved on your timetable, and even if it's a desperate timetable. Because one of the challenges that I had as I was going through this experience is to stop thinking about my spouse and start thinking, okay, what is God looking to teach me through this experience? Perhaps the thing that will flip things around is you taking your focus off of him or her and putting that focus on yourself. I know those are tough words, and that doesn't make your situation easier, but the scriptures are faithful. God is faithful, and he does indeed care about you, beloved. And so for the rest of you, if there's anything I can help, don't forget I am a marriage and divorce coach. I work with couples ahead of time for pre-marriage. I work with people who are in marriage and are struggling. I work with people who are going through divorce. If you need anything or if I can serve you, just go to my website at drangelcartagena.com, hit the contact tab, and you'll be able to send me a message. Don't forget, I do 30-minute free consultations, first-time consultations, to see if we can work together, and just know that I'm praying for you anyway. So hope you have a great rest of the week. God loves you, so do I, and I just pray for those of you who are going through this. Read Psalm 37. Know it. Know it. God is faithful. You will be victorious.